So we have 3 photos we're going to use. We're going to have one at the top, one on the bottom, and one on the left. What I like to do is go ahead and create a container for this top photo. Even though I'm not quite sure how I'm going to crop it, I'm still going to have a box here. It's going to really help us drag it in and load it in. So just creating some separate boxes for these bottom photos, making sure I have enough breathing room between the types. Just going to scoot that up there. So let's go ahead and drag all of these in. First of all, we have our main title photo. And so it's going to load it in pretty zoomed in, but we're going to right click. They have a new option now in the latest version of InDesign called Content Aware Fit. It's going to use an algorithm that's going to automatically size it up properly, and it's going to find the subject matter and do it properly. If you don't have that, you can always do fill frame proportionately and manually do it, but I'm going to do Content Aware Fit. It's going to automatically find the right cropping. I'm going to leave it there for now. Let's go ahead and drag in the other ones. I have this top one selected. These are a flat lay photography. We're going to do the same thing. Content Aware Fit. It's going to kind of locate the main items. We're going to have to adjust that later. And let's drag in some eggs. What I thought I wanted to do, it's not the perfect photo, but I think it'll work for now. What I wanted to do is find an in-process photo. So that means I have kind of a final product, which is the pancake, and we have kind of it laid out, another final product shot, but I wanted to have a process photo, someone actually making pancakes, cooking pancakes, the raw ingredients, so that you just don't see final pancakes put together, but you see kind of the process of making pancakes. And I wanted to find a cook actually on a griddle, but I couldn't find a photo that would work really good with this white background. That was for free, so I decided to kind of stick with these eggs. But just kind of going through what I think about when I'm trying to tell a story, I want to have different photos. So this is more satiating. It's zoomed in. It's a tight shot. It's very, makes you hungry. And this one's more, you're setting the tone. You're setting the table, and it's a little bit of a different zoomed out view of the whole table. And of course, this one is a tighter shot of not a pancake, but a raw ingredient of a pancake. So they have different features to them. They're not a photo that is 3 photos of a pancake that's finished that has syrup on it. They're different parts of the process. So just thinking of that as you're trying to tell a story with your editorial and not just have a bunch of photos that look good, but they all lead to one another in terms of helping tell that story. Okay, so let's adjust this a little bit. Let's get our direct selection tool and select this so we can start to adjust the photo in the frame. I'm just kind of scaling this up, get a tighter shot. I want to see the hand and the honey pouring on, and I want to try to center this. So I'm going to zoom out and really try to get a nice cropping for this. And I also want to make sure all my photos have enough to go over to the bleed. So I'm going to toggle on W and make sure I have everything go out to the red area, because I don't want to ignore bleed and then I have to readjust a photo because I forgot about that little bit of bleed. Just making sure the photo at least extends to the red mark. So toggling off W. So I think that might be a good framing. I could even zoom it out a little bit more. I just need to make sure I get the direct selection tool, and you'll notice it's red when I use the direct selection tool, and that's how it won't change the container, it'll change the image inside of it. Just trying to properly frame it. So now we can work on the title. So let's do the title and then we'll kind of move over to the right. So this will obviously all need to probably start off as white. So I'm just going to color and just making these white. And now we got to do sizing. So with everything, there's less important words and there's more important words. So how to make the perfect pancake. So perfect pancake would definitely be bigger and a little bit more prominent, because perfect is a strong word and pancake is the whole part of the article. So I'm just selecting my text and just adapting the same. Boop, there we go. I like to double click that bottom right corner to automatically frame it for me. Just adapting the same size. So what I thought would be neat, because we have this really wonderful photo and I don't want to mess with it too much. I want to work with it. I want to have the type play with the dropping honey down here. So how can we make this playful? I thought we would split it from a left to right so that this little drip falls between the title. We have how to. Let's separate this into a second text box and reduce this. Just doing some typography work here. One of the most important things about being a graphic designer is trying to figure out proper layouts. Let's make that a little bit bigger. So how to make the perfect pancake. And this could probably be just a touch smaller. So I thought splitting it in half kind of made it a little interesting. and it frames it nice. It's right there in the center. And we could even add color to this as well. But first we really need to find the right font pairing for this. So what I'd like to do is have how to make the in a different typeface. And Perfect Pancake, I would love to explore a more detailed typeface, maybe a more decorative typeface that could really stand really strong on this nice gray background. Just got to add a little personality to it, not just a boring typical font, but something a little more specialized. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll through my character here and my character panel and try to find something like this. This Lust display is quite lovely. It's got a lot of personality to it. Look at the treatment to the F and how it's very exaggerated. It's got these thin, look at the F here. See kind of this little skinny part here, and you kind of have a fat part here. That means it's got a high contrast between the strokes, and it just has a very lovely artistic effect to it. And this is Lust Display. So I really like that typeface, but we're going to continue to keep finding one, although that really looks great. It's got a lot of personality. It can really hold on its own. And this is probably the hardest part of being a graphic designer, is finding the right font choice, because you have thousands of choices. And I like to find my fonts on Google Fonts. I use the Adobe subscription, so I have access to the Adobe fonts, which you're seeing a lot of here. Now a script type could work, but it's not super strong, and it's a little bit hard to read. So I'm going to keep moving on, although I like the character of it. Victor script. Now this is a little bit better. It's a lot more readable. I can definitely, there's definition between each character. I can read each one. It's definitely got a little punch of personality. I really like this one. That's Victor script. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to find one, settle on one, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back, and I decided to stick with the Victor script typeface. I thought it was readable, and it was thicker, and it had personality. So it checked off all my boxes. And I also paired it with an italicized font, because I thought the italicized had a very classy look, and it worked very well with a slanted script. So you notice how this has a little bit of a slant and this has a little bit of a slant. So it kind of works well together. And this is just something we've been using a lot, is Bodoni. So that's Bodoni 72 Book Italic. So just kind of arranging that in that way. I also decided to pull out a color in the photo, which is a very common, great thing to do, because it helps tie in the photo with the type. And so what I did is I just selected both of these. I got my eyedropper tool, and I took some time to sample the golden brown, because I wanted to bring out the wheat and the flour and the cooked golden brown buttery goodness of wheat, to kind of bring in to let you drool a little bit and get enticed by the food. So I found one right in this area. I just kind of clicked around till I found one that was bright enough to be seen on the dark gray, but still have that cooked wheat color. So there is that. And one thing I want to do, and this is a really great feature in InDesign and any Adobe product, how they're all connected. I want to bring this into Photoshop, but instead of having to open up Photoshop and drag it into Photoshop, I can edit it right from here. So I'm still going to be opening Photoshop, but I'm going to click this image right here. It's got a lot of warm tones in it. I want to add a few cooler tones in it to the pancake, just to kind of make it a little bit of a modern editing. So I'm going to right click my photo here and go down to Edit With, and I can edit with Photoshop. So I have the 2019 version. You're going to click on that. It's going to automatically open this in Adobe Photoshop. So that's really awesome. So now I can make edits and save it, and it automatically updates in InDesign. I don't have to drag it back in, which is super nice. So let's do just some small editing to this. I just wanted to bring some cooler tones to this photo. So I'm just going to go to Adjustments. So let's try Color Balance and just bring out a little bit of cooler tones. Not a lot, just a little bit of blue. So you notice that was before. It's a fine photo. It looks fantastic. When I add a little bit of blue, it just kind of adds a modern kind of filter to it. Just kind of really brings out some richness to it. Just adding a little bit. It wasn't a lot. But you notice modern photos have a lot more cooler tones, gray tones, than they do super duper warm tones.